You want to try it? Dah. Second is Goeding. You notice the hu, dah, Goeding. So let me hear you. Dah Goeding. And then I would ask, Wasa iate? That just means, how are you doing? And you would say, ha, ya, keit. That's difficult even for me, so I'm not going to make you try it, but if you all say we're doing fine, I'll know exactly what it is.
Doing fine.
Great, great. Although I did see a lot of people staggering around this morning. But I know it was not a late night. It's those 12-foot seas that move the boat back and forth. So I introduced myself by saying, Dah Goeding, Yuchat Tusak. That just means, my name is Dah Goeding. But if you were here, you would know that Dah Goeding was one of our ancestors in what would be the next part, Shankukeri Ayachat. That's my clan. Cha'ak Nahatsati is that I'm a part of the Eagles. And I was a little offended by Pete telling the prior audience that we were thieves. I stole a lot of food off of my mother's plates when I was a little kid, but I don't think that makes me a thief, do you? So Dah Goeding Yuhat Tuasak, the clan leader in Yakutat, actually Dry Bay was my mother's hometown. My grandmother and great-grandmother were born there. It no longer has a population of Tlingit people living there. It's actually a preserve north of Glacier Bay. So when you're sitting at the Grand Pacific, just off in that direction, when you're looking at the glacier, is my homeland. I've never lived there, I've never visited that. We'll talk a little bit about that. Dah Goeding also went by the English name of Blind David Dick. So anyone who has had cataract surgery understands why an elder in a Tlingit country might become a blind David Dick. He could see, but he didn't have the surgery. I'm happy for public health today because you can have that corrected very easily. So as we go through, you now know that I'm an eagle, which places me within a certain clan structure. You know I'm a thunderbird, also places me in a certain class as well. But we love our in-laws. This ain't an Archie Bunker kind of country up here. We love our in-laws. We are so respectful that my friend, the late Clarence Jackson, told me one time he was my tribal grandson. Even though he was older than me, he was my tribal grandson, and he said his grandfather who raised him was the Thunderbird. Whenever he did a speech in Tlingit, he would write it out and speak it to his wife, the in-law. If she said there was any possibility of offending the in-law clan, Clarence did what one of our long married couples yesterday, I think it was 65 years or 67 years, said, you know, you just don't offend. You don't say anything. That one specifically said, I just don't say anything. But he had to speak, so he would make sure that he didn't say anything that offended the in-laws, which was represented by his wife. So we love our in-laws, and that is the other part of it. So we say who our in-laws are. So mine is the Aleut. So we say Aleut Yadi. Now you would know who I am. Isn't that simple? I didn't think so when I moved here. But I want to tell a little story. Last night I went to see Ashley Rose Smith, and as a former singer, I really loved her story. It's the passion that people have for what they do that makes life exciting. And she had a passion, so much so that she was telling us that she snuck into bars. Can you believe that? A young woman sneaking into bars. I'm seeing all these glimmers of the ladies up here saying, oh, we would never do that, sure. I see the husband smiling saying, I'm not going to say anything about that. But what it brought me to is that someone who loves the work they do that much is someone that I appreciate. But it also took me to a story that I want to tell after I give you some of the formalities of who I am, just so you don't know me just as a Tlingit person. So we're going to leave the campfire for a little bit. We'll come back to it because I prefer telling stories, but some of these stories need illustrations. And I have to move out of the spotlight.